Model is made up of three main components, which are the cloud service provider, the identity provider, and the user agent. This video demonstrates the steps followed by a user who would like to access a protected resource in the cloud service provider. The user is already registered with the cloud service provider. They've been redirected to the identity provider for authentication. The identity provider is the blockchain. The user's personal information is already stored in MetaMask. So the user would like to sign up with the blockchain. The account address from MetaMask has been auto-populated in the account address field. The user enters their email address. Before the user can submit their details into the blockchain, it is important to note that the blockchain is transparent. Information submitted into the blockchain can be seen by anyone who has access to the blockchain. User information is encrypted before being submitted to the blockchain so that it is protected from unauthorized viewing. The blockchain front end generates a symmetric key that encrypts the email address or the user information. This symmetric key is then encrypted by the public key from MetaMask. Thus, the encrypted information, that is the email address and the symmetric key, are then submitted to the blockchain. This encrypted information will only be decrypted by the user during the sign-in process, and that will be discussed later. So it is stored in the blockchain in an encrypted format. Before we submit this information, let's have a look at what the blockchain looks like. We are using Eternal. Eternal is a blockchain explorer that shows us the transactions in the blockchain. We have the accounts tab that lists all the accounts in the blockchain. We have the block tab that shows all the blocks in the blockchain. We have the transactions and the information about the transactions. We are going to discuss this after submitting user details into the blockchain. We have the contracts that have been deployed into the blockchain. So the last transaction that was sent to the blockchain was sent 15 minutes ago. So let's go back to the sign up page to register the user with the blockchain. So the user will click on sign up. They are requested to confirm that they are the owner of the account address. So when the user is signing up, they're using the private key that is stored in MetaMask to confirm that they are the owner of that account address. So the blockchain here is confirming that the user's account does not exist in the blockchain yet. So we can click on OK, and then we can confirm that we want to proceed with the registration. So encrypted user details and encrypted symmetric key have been successfully saved in the blockchain. So this means that the user has been successfully registered with the blockchain. Let's go back to the blockchain explorer to view the recent transaction. This is the recent transaction. As we can see that it was mined a few seconds ago. So this is the unique identifier of the transaction. This is the Ethereum account address of the sender who sent this transaction. This is the user. This is the contract address that received the transaction sent by this user. Let's open the transaction so we can see these details of the transactions. We can see the amount of gas that was used to compensate miners for processing the transaction. We can see the block number. We can see the time at which the transaction was done. And this is the gas limit, which is the amount or the maximum amount of gas that can be used for transactions in this block. So this is the function that was called during the transaction, and this is the smart contract function that was called, and this is the event that was emitted during that transaction, and this is the data, the transaction data. So we see the functions, the events that were called in the data. So let's navigate back to the blockchain front end. So in our next video, we are going to focus on the steps followed by a user who wants to sign into the blockchain. The user who's already registered with the blockchain and now wants to be authenticated with the blockchain so that they can access a protected resource that is stored in the cloud service provider.